I purchased the Nike Alphafly 3s earlier this year. I've done lots of miles and a couple of races, and now I would like to give you my unbiased review of the Nike Alphafly 3s. When I first bought these shoes, I absolutely hated them. In fact, I bought these for the Manchester Marathon in April of 2024. The first time I took these out was a few weeks before the marathon, and I just expected to love them straight away, and I don't know why I thought that, but I just expected to love them, and I didn't. They hurt the arch of my foot, and I just quickly threw them to the side. And in Manchester Marathon, I wore the Nike Alphafly 1s, a shoe that I have absolutely loved since I've got them. In fact, I've two pairs of them, and I've got about 450 miles on each pair of the Alphafly 1s. So what was it I hated so much about this shoe? Well, number one, it hurt the arch of my foot. Number two, I really didn't feel that they were that fast. It didn't really add up. Listening to the reviews that I listened to on YouTube, I didn't get the same experience as a lot of other people had, and not really. Probably about a month after the marathon, I listened to somebody else on YouTube talk about these in regards to having to really break them in, and it took like them 30 to 50 miles to they really started liking the shoe. And I thought, do you know what, I'm going to give this shoe another go. So in June time, I raced a half marathon in them. You can go back and look at another of my videos to see that race vlog. I did go to like them, but were they really worth all the money? So in this review, we're going to get into the likes and the dislikes, and I'm going to let you know why I've ended up with a brand new pair. The Alphafly is widely regarded as the best shoe that Nike has. We do see some of the fastest marathon runners in the world wearing the Alphaflys, and there has been, I don't know how many world records broken in them between the Alphafly 1s through to the 3s. The shoe itself has a stack height of 40mm at the rear and 32mm at the front, giving it an 8mm drop. It has the ZoomX foam along with the Air Zoom pods in the front. Now, one thing I will say about those is in the Alphafly 1s, the pods seem to be further forward, and in my estimation, they felt as if they were bigger and flatter, whereas in this shoe, they seem to be slightly further back, and there seems to be a bit more of a roll in the front of the shoe. I've always found the upper and the Alphafly really comfortable. I know some people don't like it so much. There's no tongue as such, it's all in one design, all one material, and it can be hard to get on the first time you use the shoe. Once you get these on, there's absolutely no trouble, and they're very breathable. And one thing I'll say about all of these Alphafly shoes that I have had is the laces just don't come undone. You tie them nice and tight, and you don't even need to do a double knot, for me anyway. So if you're going to race, I recommend you do a double knot anyway, just in case. I don't want any curse me and saying, Stephen said not to do a double knot, and I done a single knot, and the lace came undone in a race. So just do a double knot. Okay, so just a disclaimer, I actually haven't ran in the Alphafly 2s, so I have no clue what type of shoe they are at all. I do have the ones, as mentioned before. I've done probably about 900 miles on the Alphafly 1s between two pairs, and I really do love that shoe. In fact, the last two speed sessions I've done, I've wore the Alphafly 1s, and as I say, there's 450 miles in them, and I'm still getting on absolutely great. So how have I come to have a new pair of these? Well, what happened was I had quite a lot of miles on the ones that I had. I don't know, somewhere between 100 and 200 miles. They were well used. I had done 2 half marathons in them and lots of training runs. So I really do know the shoe now, and I can safely say it took me a lot of miles to get used to it. Whereas with the Alphafly 1s, the first time I put them on and ran down the road, I just knew that shoe was a very efficient shoe, and I was going to get on well with it. If you've watched some of my last videos, you might know what happened. So I went to go for a run a couple of weeks ago, went to put the shoe on, and of course there was a burst bubble AirPod in the front of the shoe, so I obviously couldn't wear them. I got in contact with Nike. I didn't actually buy them from Nike, but I just thought I would get in contact with them. They said to find the retailer where I got them, get in touch with them, which I done. That was sportshoes.com. They asked me to send a photograph to begin with. Sent a photograph. They thought, okay, we need to inspect them, so I posted them out, and within about 2 days, Sports Shoes sent me an email to say that I was due a new pair because that shouldn't have happened, and I have ended up with a shiny brand new pair of Alphafly 3s. Exact same shoe as I had before, exact same colorway as I had last year. I think it's called the Volt. Not my favorite colorway now. I have seen other ones come through and really like them. So let me tell you what I like about this shoe. It's comfortable. I like the look of it. Some people don't like this, but I like that there's a good slapping sound of it. You hear an Alphafly coming a mile off, and for me it's good, especially the places that I run around here. It's good people walking in front of me with dogs and stuff. I know this sounds a bit stupid, but like people walking dogs in front, sometimes don't hear you, but when you're wearing these, they certainly do hear you. I like that about them. As I say, I like the comfort of them. I like how they look. And what I have found is these are a bit of a rocket of a shoe. What I would say is I like that you have to really work with them to get them to go. But whenever you get these things going, they are a fast shoe. The Alphafly ones to me were a big cruiser. Like if you think of it in terms of cars, like I don't know, like a big American V8 engine sailing down the road, cruising along. That's how the Alphafly ones are to me. A fast shoe, but just a big cruiser. Not good in corners at all. Like I remember the first time I went to go around a corner at a bit of speed, and the Alphafly ones, and like you just basically go straight on. They are no good for that at all. These are slightly better on corners, and they are not just they're not the cruiser I thought they would be. They're a bit more aggressive. You have to really work with this shoe to get the best out of it. For me, I had to change my stride slightly to get these shoes to work, and I think that's why it took so long for me to actually start liking them. The AirPod is slightly further back. I believe the Alphafly ones really forced me to work onto my toes, and with these, I find it slightly further back, and I just have to sort of land slightly differently and really lean into my stride to get these things to work. Now, I'm going to contradict myself here because I put that in with a like. I also kind of don't like them for that same reason, and I know that sounds a bit stupid, but when you're so used to the Alphafly ones, anything else after that just doesn't feel as good. I just feel sometimes with this, I want to, like, easing off the pace a wee bit. I don't really like this shoe. And for that reason, I think for me, it's kind of more of a half marathon shoe than a full marathon shoe. And I know some people will be like throwing things at the screen right now and telling me to wise up. That's how I feel about it. It's a bit more aggressive. It's a bit more on the aggressive side for a marathon shoe, I believe. And yeah, 10K, half marathon, that's what I'll be using it for. I'm not sure that I'll be using it for my next marathon. That's just how I feel. But certainly 10K, half marathon. It's a fast shoe. For me, I have to work at it a bit more. Who knows? Maybe as I get further into my next marathon block and I'm going for that, hopefully going for that sub 3, maybe I'll start liking this even more and I'll have that more aggressive stride or something, and I may end up wearing this for the marathon. It's just for me not as comfortable when you get down the miles as the Alphafly ones would have been. Now, I had the Vapourfly 3s, although I didn't keep them at the time because I had just so many shoes, I ended up sending them back. To me, it was more of a cruiser than what this is. This just feels that bit more aggressive. So there's not many dislikes, to be honest. Another one, what I would say, is the price. £285 is just a lot of money for a shoe, but sadly that's just the way super shoes have went, and you know, there's a lot of shoes up around that price at the minute, and I think that's here to stay, to be honest. But yeah, do you know what, Nike, they've done a good job. Obviously they're a good shoe. I myself will be exploring other options for the marathon. I will keep it good and see how things go over the next while. I don't want to take this out in training runs and ruin them. I will wait to closer to the marathon in April, and I don't know, we'll see. Christmas is coming, dear knows what I get as a present. Maybe I'll get another pair of shoes, I'm not sure. So yeah, be looking forward to that. I find this to be a grippy shoe. I think it's slightly more grippy than the Alphafly ones. I have had no problem whatsoever. In terms of wearing, now, I'm not sure if I have images of the shoe that I sent back to Sports Shoes, but you know, if I compare the shoe that I had prior to this one with, you know, 100 and something miles on it, if I compare that to a pair of Alphafly ones that I have with 450 miles on it, the Alphafly 3s were worn way more. In fact, I know that this wee pad here and the inside was worn smooth, whereas like if I show you an image of the Alphafly ones, yes, they're worn, but not like there's no comparison. The Alphafly ones just were an absolute workhorse. They still are a workhorse. They are just some shoe. If you haven't gathered it by now, I really like them. Another dislike of this shoe, I really, really, really dislike this. On the first race that I done with this shoe, I got about 2 miles into a 5 mile race, and there was a slight, I had to go through a path, and obviously there was a few stones, and I got a big massive stone stuck down in through the bottom here, and it was just, I tried to run through it, it was just doing my head in. I had to stop, and pull the stone out. It was absolutely jam-packed, wedged in there, and I couldn't get it out. It took me ages, but it was just doing my head in. I couldn't have raced on with it, and yeah, it cost me some time, but yeah, didn't like that at all. And on any runs I've done since, like I've had, don't get me wrong, I'm mostly on pavement, but sometimes you run through somewhere or there's, you know, stones in the pavement. There just always seems to be things getting stuck in there, and it is so annoying. It really is. So there you are, my unbiased review of the Nike Alphafly 3. If you think that was a load of waffle and you don't agree with what I've said, pop it down in the comments. If you do, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. If you've worn these before, you'll obviously have some thoughts. If you haven't, do you know what? They're worth a try. If you've got the money just to throw out at shoes, like obviously this is only my opinion. There's other people out there in YouTube land that are just absolutely loving these, and yeah, it's kind of like a split decision for me. It's like a love-hate relationship. They are a very fast, aggressive shoe, but just not for the marathon for me. And that's just the way it is. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.